Also, very glad to have Steve Yencich from the Michigan Lodging and Tourism Association because today at the Radisson down the street is the Michigan Lodging and Tourism Legislative Conference, and many of the members will also be at the Capitol, as I understand it, calling on people like Senator Allen and Senator Cropsey, who you just met with.
Absolutely, and no more important time than to sit down and meet face to face with people that are going to have to establish the proposal, pass that proposal to provide consistent and ongoing funding for that Pure Michigan campaign. So, hugely important event.
And this is the last day of summer. Tonight, autumn will arrive, and the harvest moon will be up tomorrow. And so it's leaf season. And we talked with Tom Nemechek a little bit earlier from the Upper Peninsula Travel and Recreation Association. He said that 30 to 40% some color change in the western UP.
Always starts there and drifts its way south. So
another great
to see that happening.
You know, when you talk about Pure Michigan, sometimes people think of the Crystal Mountains of the world and the Boynes, the big operators. But what about the guy that operates the corn maze, down in Williamston? Those are all people that are depending on tourism dollars, too.
Oh, absolutely. And, not just the corn maze, Uncle John's cider mill.
Yeah.
All those cider mills throughout the state, the pumpkin sales,
yeah.
All those things. Agri-tourism is a very important part of what our industry offers, not just state residents, but residents coming in from other states.
And the wine industry, when you say agritourism, that's what comes to my mind.
Wine tasting comes to mind all of a sudden.
I would like to think this studio could be a sort of a tourist destination. If you've never visited us before, please do. We're right on Michigan Avenue, right down the street from the Capitol, and it's a storefront studio like the Today Show on TV where you can watch the program outside and listen to it. We have a lobby with memorabilia, and on the other side, a coffee house with big windows, so you can be a part of the show. You can just have a coffee and watch the show, but we'd love to see you. We're also seen on Fox 47 television if you're in the Lansing area, and also on YouTube every day. So just go to MichiganTalkNetwork.com, and we can connect you any way you like, in person, on television, or online, and we have a Facebook page as well. Two guys from downtown Detroit. Andy Hetzel from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan is on the other end of our line right now. Their tower, well, they have two towers now downtown Detroit. Of course, the Blue Cross headquarters and moving into the Renaissance Center. Good morning to you, Andy.
Good morning, Michael Patrick. Good to be with you.
Thank you. We're with Mike O'Callahan, too. He's from Detroit Metro Convention and Visitors Bureau. How are you, sir?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
We learn when we talk about tourism that Detroit is the #1 most visited tourism spot in the state of Michigan. We all like to think about Traverse City and Petoskey, and we're heard on radio stations in those markets. But people come to Detroit. They ride the People Mover. They go to the casinos. They go to the Lions game. I mean, they had a sellout this weekend. I was there on Sunday. And Detroit plays a very important role.
Well, Detroit does, and Detroit has more visitors coming into our destination than any other spot in the state. More than 65% of the visitors who come into metropolitan Detroit are from outside of the state of Michigan, so that's significant in that those are dollars that are coming in from other places and important. And we've had a pretty strong summer after a very dismal 2009. Our demand, our occupancy, the number of visitors to the destination is up in double digits. And, I think that people are beginning to travel again. Tigers had a good season.
Yeah. Disappointing conclusion, though, to be sure.
Yeah,
but anyway,
a lot of young
what are you
kids
going to do?
on the baseball field. So.
I was at the Book Cadillac for the first time, the Weston Book Cadillac this weekend. I had dinner at Roast, and I had always been very eager to see it. And as a travel writer, I was, just ashamed that I hadn't been there yet. Thing that surprised me, I got to say, it really did surprise me, how contemporary the lobby was. I was walking in sort of expecting to go back in time to the way it was when it was the book. They went with a modern approach. Is it getting good reviews?
Yeah, and I hope you thought that it was really appealing. I think we were all taken back by that as you first walk in, because you do think you're going to step back into the 20s.
Yeah.
But it's a current version of it. When you go up into the banquet areas, the ballroom areas, they are decked out to look exactly like they did when the hotel was open in the 19-teens, but with today's flair. Certainly the fixtures on the wall, et cetera, are more appealing to today's customer. It's good. The place is getting great reviews, and it's doing very, very well.
I think that Weston at Metro Airport is a snazzy hotel, too, the airport hotel.
And it's one of the best airport hotels in the United States. As that airport is, that's one of the best airports in the world. But that hotel has done exceptionally well and been well received. After the first 2 or 3 months, it just took off and has been leading that market out there.
Andy Hetzel, there was a lot of talk, there still is a lot of talk, in fact, about the healthcare situation. I was with some small business people on the weekend, and we were all kicking it around and talking about it. Congressman Rogers was in the studio yesterday. We took calls. People wanted to know about it. As we get into the autumn season, we're coming to the midterm elections. There's talk about revoking the health care reform. What should we think, and where are we now in terms of Michigan's role in national health care?
Well, Michael, our focus at Blue Cross is not on the politics, but on helping people understand the changes that are occurring starting, in fact, tomorrow. There are many changes taking place to benefit plans that are the first wave of changes that really are taking effect thanks to the bill that was signed 6 months ago tomorrow, including some real positive things for children. Children will not be able to be excluded from new coverage because of pre-existing conditions anymore. Blue Cross has never done that, but now all the other insurers won't either. There won't be a waiting period for kids with pre-existing conditions as there is today to access services. Preventive services will be covered with no cost sharing. Hopefully that will get more people into the doctor earlier to diagnose their conditions earlier before they become serious. And there are a number of other changes to insurance plans that will start to take effect tomorrow, but really take effect for benefit plans beginning on January 1st. And we have a website at Blue Cross that we've created to help people understand the changes that are happening. It's bcbsm.com/healthreform. It's not partisan, it's informative, and anyone can go. If you're a business owner, if you're an individual, there's information there for you. It's easy to navigate and it's easy to understand.
Well, Blue Cross doesn't have to get mixed up in the politics of it because you have no choice but to implement it. In fact, some of these changes you've already implemented long ago.
Yeah, some of the changes that are happening to the industry, Michael, are business practices that Blue Cross has never engaged in, such as the ending of rescissions, which is dropping coverage for people whose medical condition changes during their coverage period. Blue Cross has never dropped people from coverage for that purpose. There have been instances where other people have been dropped, and that's changing, and that's a good thing. It's good that the industry will be moving toward a level playing field. Here in Michigan, for a long time, we've been struggling with really two regulatory standards for insurers. The federal reform is creating some pretty uniform guidelines for the industry, and that's a good thing.
I hope you'll join us in studio sometime soon and we can talk at length about these topics because some of the changes, as you say, 6 months in now, are happening tomorrow and then through the first of the year. So come down and join us sometime soon, won't you?
I'd love to do that, Michael. In the meantime, bcbsm.com/healthreform.
bcbsm.com/healthreform. BCBSM stands for Blue Cross Blue Shield Michigan. 35 after the hour.